What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
When Gobua saw Gabble, all he could do was stare. They were the last to arrive, but given that they had to run across the ground, it was unavoidable. They arrived just in time for the start of the war despite their speed being in line with their over A rank. Additionally, they had succeeded in positioning themselves behind the enemy forces as intended.
The fact that Sir Gabble went alone suggests that the man has exceptional abilities.
The man standing next to Gobua responded to her remark.
Is that true? But all I see is a skinny kid with glasses who is adept at paperwork.
Phobio, a member of Carrion's Beastketeers, was there. He hadn't gone back to his nation of origin for whatever reason, but without his knowledge, he had followed Gobua. Gobua was satisfied internally, but she was still in control of the Kurenai due to Benimaru's orders. She warned Phobio because she had to be firm when performing official tasks.
Sir Phobio, while your skills are admirable, you should work on sharpening your sense of enemy strength.
Gobua, that's harsh. Just call me Phobio. Drop the honorific.
We're on a mission, and this is war. You must maintain order in both your personal and professional lives.
The two of them kept talking, but to their subordinates, it appeared as though they were flirting. There was a strange warm feeling in the air despite the fact that the battlefield was tense.
So what follows this?
Phobio inquired, his face serious. Gobua responded after shifting her perspective.
We'll wait it out here, for now. The mission is already doomed to failure because we have already failed to meet our requirements for a tactical win. We might be wiped out, depending on what Lady Velgrind does. The best course of action, if all we want is to survive, is to flee, yet we are unable to do so. The most crucial thing is, in short, to lessen the number of individuals standing in our way and to ease His Majesty Rimura's burden as much as possible.
It was the expression of somebody who had already decided what to do. Rimuru would have the chance to seize the initiative and eliminate Emperor Rudra if they kept Velgrind in this location. Or possibly the goal of the operation was to persuade him to accept a ceasefire agreement. That strategy, however, failed when Velgrind released a split body. At that moment, all operations ought to have been put on hold, but the people who could have ordered that were nowhere to be seen. In this case, Gabble held the position of ultimate decision-maker. Gabble decided to carry through with the operation. Gobua had no disagreements and Testarossa and the rest were in agreement.
We'll do what we can, that's all.
They were ready to stall any number of split bodies, which Velgrind might be able to generate. They also intended to disrupt the ritual that Kigali was carrying out if they could.
Are you attempting to end your life?
No. Never will His Majesty Rimuru permit our demise. Therefore, no casualties will be permitted.
The Kurenai all silently nodded in agreement with Gobua's ridiculous order.
There is nothing we can do to stop Velgrind if she moves, right?
We'll leave her with Sir Gadra and flee if she does.
Gobua replied with a wink. That look had the ability to silence Phobio.
Fine. I'm going to stop thinking so much and just do something crazy. I should introduce myself because it appears that I know several of these men from before.
Phobio had made a severe mistake in the past after being duped by Footman and Tyr. He didn't hold it against them though because it was all his own fault for being inexperienced. In fact, he was even appreciative of them because he thought he had learned from the experience. He was an energetic and straightforward man, just as a beastman should be. He was such a man, and watching his foe being used as a tool made him reflect.
Avoid making hasty decisions.
I'll try not to die, but I can't promise that.
Phobio entered the battle by saying these remarks. King Gazel had to fight Lieutenant Kondou. Gabble noticed the intelligence officer with the glasses. Tyr and Footman moved toward Vaughn and Henrietta. Gobua and the others attempted to analyze the situation as Phobio intervened. A demon colossus that was under Master Gadra's control was in front of Velgrind, who was mockingly surveying the battleground. The battles then started. Gazel's thoughts were as serene as a quiet sea during the battle. He was battling Kondou in his capacity as a warrior and a swordsman, not as a king. As directed by Gazel, Kondou drew his military sword. He also let out a faint breath of admiration for Gazel's posture.
That's impressive, I must say. I suppose the Sword Saint moniker wasn't overstated.
He didn't mean any flattery with these statements, he truly meant them. Gazel, however, laughed back.
You must speak for yourself. Such statements only seem sarcastic when stated by someone like you.
That was how he truly felt. Gazel could see no fault with Kondou's posture, it was stunning. In contrast to when he had battled Footman, Kondou was now wielding his sword in both hands and was standing sternly. Another startling information was also revealed. The two men's stances appeared to have been practiced together because they were so similar. After a few rounds of silent blow-for-blow combat, they each had a good understanding of each other's strength. They were certain that the similarity of their stances was not a coincidence. Gazel had learnt swordsmanship from Hakuro, and while he added some of his own moves, his fundamental stance remained true to Hakuro's instructions. Byakuya Araki, Hakuro's grandfather, passed it down as the Oboro Ryu. This school of swordsmanship had only been passed down to Hakuro. Even Gazel, a direct student of Hakuro, did not fully understand the Oboro Ryu. He understood there were more mysteries to be revealed, but still. Hakuro served as the instructor for the soldiers' training in the Land of Monsters. The fundamentals of swordsmanship would have been taught to them by him without a doubt, but it was improbable that this would have been shared with the Empire. Swordsmanship, to begin with, was not an ability that could be learned in a day. Gazel posed the query for this reason. Strangely, Kondou also asked the same question.
How did you learn about Oboro Ryu given that stance?
My Oboro Shinmei Ryu and His Majesty Gazel's technique are identical, as I had assumed when I first heard about it. From whom did you learn it?
They exchanged intense looks. The first person to speak was Gazel.
Oboro Shinmei Ryu. So you're saying it's not the same as Oboro Ryu?
Kondou silently accepted the question and gave it some thought.
According to the knowledge I possessed, the Dwarven Kingdom preferred the traditional method of swordsmanship, which involved holding a blade in one hand and a shield in the other. Has that anything to do with this?
Despite the limited facts at his disposal, Kondou was still quite near to the correct answer. Gazel was growing impatient with his silence though.
Are you not going to respond to my query?
Please try not to rush things. The Oboro Ryu is possibly from the same school as the one I acquired. That's why I'd prefer to ask you a question instead. Is it possible that this world could have produced the same school of swordsmanship by accident?
That's true, I guess.
Gazel remembered as he murmured. He thought back to a tale his trainers had told him about Hakuro's grandfather.
My master Sir Hakuro informed me that his grandpa had taught him the Oboro Ryu. He was described as a visitor from a different world, which makes sense.
Gazel and Kondou had no idea that Byakuya Araki had a younger brother. That person had taken over from his brother as the institution's founder and was responsible for introducing the Oboro Shinmei Ryu to Kondou's native society. The sword that vanquished evil was used to combat the river and mountain monsters. One of those who had battled evil, Kondou had been studying the Oboro Shinmei Ryu from a place not far from the source.
It's interesting to learn that we are fellow pupils.
Kondou started laughing in an unusually amused way. His chuckle seemed to emphasize his coldness because he didn't often show his feelings.
Your Majesty Gazel, I have a proposal for you.
What is it?
I want to offer you my friendship as a fellow Oboro user. I believe His Majesty Gazel is strong enough to join our ranks. I vow to stop waging war against your nation if you give up your weapons and pledge allegiance to my emperor.
What gives you the impression that I'll accept that proposal?
I believe you'll. It is the most effective way to reduce casualties, rationally speaking.
That's what Gazel thought as well. It was an offer that was really needed. Accepting the offer would be the right thing to do for the Dwarven Kingdom citizens. He should embrace it without hesitation as a ruler. There was little chance of victory now that Velgrin's threat was revealed. This battle's winning criteria should never have been established since they were so ambiguous. Rimuru and the others hoped to settle their differences with Rudra before suffering significant fatalities, but this was wishful thinking.
If it's for the welfare of the people.
Almost considering it, Gazel chuckled to remove his concerns.
Ridiculous. You believe you have already won. Has no one ever warned you that arrogance is one's worst enemy? See how I correct you for your pompous thoughts.
Gazel shouted this while concentrating on the adversary in front of him. He chased away all other thoughts and focused solely on defeating Kondou. He then unleashed the entire power of his haki as saint while uniting his mind, body, and his beloved sword. A champion who could almost equal the power of an awakened demon lord suddenly came there. Kondou spotted Gazel, but his expression remained unaffected.
Oh my, it appears that you are a clever ruler merely in name. It is therefore impossible to avoid it. Before your reputation is destroyed, I will take care of you.
Those words marked the start of a battle between the saints. A short while had passed. Kondou was beginning to take control. His ability to neutralize Gazel's champion's haki was simple. He may negate all effects by donning an aura of the same kind. The same applied to pure swordplay as well. Gazel quickly launched a series of vertical slashes with his Oboro Chiton Gorai. But Kondou quickly launched a sideways counterattack with his Shippu Reiha, while adjusting his body to avoid the attacks. The fastest attack Kondou could muster was the Shiden Tatsu, but Gazel parried it with a Rusui Zan. The two fellow students were well familiar with each other's techniques. Gazel's response, though, slowed down with time. Kondou was more skilled than him in terms of techniques.
I knew it. The Oboro Shinmei Ryu contains various methods that I have never seen before. Even as a staunch supporter of the original art, I am not familiar with them all. Hakurou, was it? I had doubts about the extent to which a simple monster might understand the true nature of the sword.
That was Kondou's truthful assessment. It wasn't intended to make fun of Hakuro, though. The profound ways of the sword had been passed down from one generation to the next. That is why Kondou said what he did. He was proud of his own school. Gazel, though, was upset by his remark.
Are you making fun of my master?
He gave Kondou a more ferocious gaze than ever. But then somebody showed up.
If you lose your composure on the battlefield easily, King Gazel, you are not well trained. I'll take your place for a bit so you can relax.
Hakuro, who was Gabwa's advisor and was in charge of the rear troops, arrived late. In a single glance, Kondou was able to see right through Hakuro's formidable strength. The sound of steel crashing into steel could be clearly heard the next moment. Hakuro's cane sword had caught Kondou's exceedingly swift quick-draw slash.
Huh? You can stop it.
Hakuro's third eye, or celestial eye, was opened on his forehead. It had now crossed the threshold of extra skills and was on the verge of crossing the threshold of unique skills. He was able to deal with Kondou's quick-draw sword style because of this.
Excellent drawing of the sword. The fact that you attended the same school as my grandfather is anything but a strange coincidence. You can test me, whom you term a mere monster, to see how much I can comprehend about the true nature of the sword, kid.
Interesting. If you say that, I'll reduce you down to size.
So, in front of Gazel, Kondou and Hakuro engaged in combat. The best winning chances belonged to Kondou. He could immediately tell that Hakuro had a certain skill. Kondou was certain, however, that monsters did not comprehend the true essence of the blade. This is due to the fact that the Oboro Shinmei Ryu was the sword that vanquished evil. It was only logical for Kondou to believe that a monster could not learn a sword skill created particularly to defeat them. In addition, the fact that the true founder, the elder brother of the Oboro Shinmei Ryu founder, had even entered this world was unfathomable.
Hey anime fans! Episode 6 of Solo Leveling is now live on Anime Fan Narrations. Join Jinwoo's thrilling journey and watch the new episode today. Find the link in the description box.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, I Like Anime, Ray Perez, Chris Guzman, Havox, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Justa Guy, Misael W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Byron, Jarius Ladek, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, John Charles, Godman Gaming, Akon Engok, Markithian Tidwell, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L., Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Gonse Direco, Thomas, Edmund W. Edwards, J. Christ, Juan Ignacio, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khaled, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Destiny Smith, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Luis Caro, Yuki Iki, Pedro Robles, Chris Jr., Isaac, Koala King 93, Paul DeGrassi, Little 95, Coyote de Peza, Quilly Buckner, Zephyros, Alver, Normal Defate, Vicente Baharias, Joshua Andrade, Jaya Keshav, L, Gary Miles, Nobody 0034, Dragon Spawn 666, J Rule, Sayonori, Alfredo Interior, Liel Tiram, Liron Sangkap, Eric Haas, Christopher Mash, Ekotski, Ethan Madison, Louis Strutter, Charles Bailey, Funky Junkie 22, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Nick H, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Von Joseph, Dariha Skerte, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadel, Tank Bailey, Gareth Hashimoto, Ankit Kumar, Steven Madison, Micah Stern, Homelike Drop, Fazli Topador, Nasir, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Chris Nelson, Karen, Mark Charlie Els, Hansel Ortega, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Jay Magsino, Recru17, Bismarck Munoz, Arayan Booker, Sagar Kotecha, Kamal Luke. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.